Hello Stitchers, this is Beth at West Coast Wool. Today's video tutorial is how to use different things to trace patterns onto fabric that you would not normally be able to put under a light box, such as some wool here or some linen. So stick with me and I will show you some different products that you can use to trace onto this fabric. The first product that I want to talk about is this Tear Easy Lightweight Stabilizer made by Sulky. You can buy it in a roll or on sheets. It's lightweight, it's soft, it's easy to tear, and it's easy to trace. So what I've done here is I've taken a piece of wool, I've taken some stabilizer, and I've traced my design. I think I used a Sharpie for this one. And what I will do is I will go back and I will stitch through the stabilizer and my fabric, and then when I'm finished I will cut away the excess and then I will tear off the extra. And as long as you make your stitches kind of on the smaller side, it works great and I do recommend it. The next product I'm going to talk about is Glad Press and Seal. You can find this at the grocery store. It comes on a roll. It's this plastic coated film that's a little bit sticky on the back. And what you're going to do is you're going to lay this on top of your pattern. You're going to trace it. I used a Sharpie here. And then you're going to lay it on your fabric and press it down. It's going to stick to it a little bit. And then you're going to stitch through it. I've used a chain stitch to stitch my initial here. And I've kept my stitches on the smaller side. And then what I've done is I've taken my scissors and I've cut the excess off, and then you can pull the press and seal off of your design, and you might use a pair of tweezers to get the little bits, but this works really well and it's something that you have around your house. The next product I'm going to talk about is this Pellon 541 Wash and Gone. It's a nice stabilizer that you can use to trace your designs on and stitch through it, and you soak it and it comes off. It disappears. So what I've done here is I've traced my design, I've stitched it, and I used some safety pins just to kind of keep it down because it's not sticky or anything. And then I'm going to use my scissors. I'm going to cut off all the excess as much as I can around this design. Then I'm going to soak it in some cold water and it will disappear. And then you've got your stitching right where you want it. The next product I want to talk about is Transfer Ease. This is a great product if you want to put this in your copy machine and you've got a lot of transferring to do and you don't want to hand trace it. You can put it in a photocopier or your copy printer and you can transfer stuff on to this paper. And so what you're going to do is once you've transferred it, or you can hand copy it like I've done here, you're going to peel the paper. There's paper on the back. You're going to peel it off and it's a little bit tacky and you're going to put it onto your background. You're going to stitch it down on your lines. You want to cut away all the excess and then you're going to soak it and then the product will disappear. I personally don't do a lot of water-soluble transfer on my wool. It does kind of have a little bit of a stiff feel afterward, but you know, you've got to try these things out. So me personally this is not my favorite method, but it's really good if you need to transfer a lot of stuff and you want to use your printer. So try it. I've saved this method for last because this is the oldest method that I've used to transfer a motif onto my wool or a dark colored fabric. And the reason why is because somebody showed me this years ago, and before I had other ways of transferring my design onto wool so I could stitch through it, this was the way to do it. So what I have here is some tulle and my pattern. So what I've done is I've got my pattern piece here and I've laid a piece of tulle on top of my pattern and I've traced using a Sharpie pen over the tulle onto my pattern piece. So I'm going to pull this up so you can kind of see it. So you can kind of see the beginnings of my pattern that I traced onto the tool. So this is kind of a dual method. So I've traced it once on the tool. Then what I've done is I've put my tool onto my fabric. As you can see, here's my design. I've put it onto the black wool, and then I've gone back over and I've traced it again. And I used a ceramic fabric pencil to trace my design and see how it transfers right onto your wool, and then you're ready to stitch it. So I don't use this method a whole lot, but if you're working on a project and you need some way to trace something, a lot of us have this tool. If we sew, we might have a piece of this, or you might just want to get some, keep it in your stash, and you'll have it, and you can trace very easily words onto the tool. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Be sure to comment if you have any questions or comments. Let me know if you have a favorite method for transferring your designs. And make sure you subscribe, comment, and check me out on Instagram and Facebook.